Hello, new mech warriors. Welcome to our first video on factions in the BattleTech universe. The intention here is to introduce each major faction of the Inner Shpere to inspire new players on their BattleTech journey. We will not be covering every faction. We will also not cover every detail of each faction. This will just be a short macro view of these forces. Keep in mind that there is no need to choose one of these factions. Paint your miniatures however you like and consider it your own mercenary company. Unlike most similar games, the basic rules of BattleTech do not provide any special abilities or technology to specific factions. Salvage is an in-universe concept that allows any force to field any BattleMech or vehicle variant. Painting your miniatures to match the forces of a favorite faction is optional and provides no in-game benefit. It is more for fluff and flavor than anything, unless you are playing in a tournament or campaign with faction-specific rules or restrictions. Do what you want. I personally like to use in-universe factions as inspiration for list building, but that's all it is, inspiration. One more note, most information in this video will be directed toward the clan invasion era. What forces consist of the Inner Shpere factions? First, we have the Great Houses, House Davion and the Federated Sons, or Federated Commonwealth, House Kurita and the Draconis Combine, House Liao and the Capellan Confederation, House Marik and the Free Worlds League, and House Steiner of the Lyran Commonwealth or Federated Commonwealth. Then we have the quasi-religious organization in charge of maintaining interstellar communications, ComStar and the ComGuard. House Davion and the Federated Sons are a constitutional aristocracy and are led by a first prince. Their official language is English, but French and German are common. Their capital is New Avalon City, located on the world of New Avalon. The Federated Sons' dominant religions are Catholicism, Buddhism, and Judaism. Their real-world inspiration comes from stereotypes of the English, French, and other Western European nations. The Federated Sons' constitution guarantees its citizens' rights, known as the Six Liberties, which are the rights to personal liberty, to own property, to own weapons, to expect fair treatment, to privacy, and participation in planetary government. Those in the Federation also put great value on education. For a time, right before the Fourth Succession War in 3028, through the end of the FedCom Civil War in 3067, House Davion combined forces with House Steiner to form the Federated Commonwealth. Their biggest enemies are the Draconis Combine and Capellan Confederation. The signature color of the Federated Sons forces is Davion green, but they are also known to use red and blue color schemes. Davion green is more of a drab or olive green. The most common BattleMechs seen in action for the Federated Sons are Valkyrie, Wasp, and Javelin, Enforcer, Centurion, and Dervish, Jägermech and Rifleman, Stalker, Victor, and Zeus. Pick this faction if the idea of freedom, democracy, and capitalism catches your interest. House Kurita and the Draconis Combine are an autocracy and are led by a coordinator. Their official language is Japanese, but Arabic and English are also common. Their capital is Imperial City on the world of Luthien. The Draconis Combine's official religion is Shinto, but Buddhism and Islam see practice too. Their real-world inspiration comes from stereotypes of the Edo period of Japan. The society of the Draconis Combine is held up by the 5 pillars: gold for its government, steel for the military, teak for the people, ivory for spirituality, and jade for the economy. Those in the Combine also put great value on honor and duty. Their biggest enemies are the Lyran Commonwealth and the Federated Sons. The signature color of the Draconis Combine is red. The most common BattleMechs seen in action for the Draconis Combine are Panther, Wasp, and Jenner, Phoenix Hawk, Whitworth, and Wolverine, Grand Dragon, Lancelot, and Dragon, Stalker, Hatamoto Chi, and Charger. Pick this faction if the idea of feudal Japan, complete with the concepts of samurai, ronin, and duty to the state, and family honor, are of interest. House Liao and the Capellan Confederation are a dictatorship and are led by a chancellor. Their official language is Mandarin, but English, Cantonese, Hindi, and Russian are also common. Their capital is the Forbidden City on the world of Shan. The dominant religions of the Capellan Confederation are Buddhism, Taoism, and Hinduism. Their real-world inspiration comes from stereotypes of China and Russia. The Capellan Confederation places loyalty and duty to the state above all else, and citizenship in the Confederation must be earned. Those who are uneducated and do not perform regular community service do not earn citizenship and are relegated to become a servitor, receiving no recognized rights and doomed to perform the jobs and duties others would not dare of. Their biggest enemies are the Free Worlds League and the Federated Sons. The signature color of the Capellan Confederation is Liao green, which is a lighter, brighter shade of green. They also tend to use metallic accents. The most common BattleMechs seen in action for the Capellan Confederation are Locust, Wasp, Urban Mech, Vindicator, Phoenix Hawk, and Wolverine, Cataphract and Thunderbolt, Victor, and Stalker. Pick this faction if the idea of spycraft, communism, or playing the underdog catches your interest. House Marik and the Free Worlds League are a parliamentary confederacy and are led by a captain general. Their official language is English, but Greek, Romanian, Spanish, and Urdu is also common. Their capital is Atreus City on the world of Atreus. The dominant religions of the Free Worlds League are Catholicism, Judaism, and Islam. Their real-world inspiration comes from a real mix of areas, perhaps the Americas, parts of Southern Europe, and the Middle East. The Free Worlds League is a free market society with great value placed on entrepreneurship. They uphold the idea that any citizen can start from the bottom and make it to the top. In contrast to their emphasis on the greatness of innovation and the free market, they tend to have a disdain for people with bionic enhancements. Their biggest enemy is the Lyran Commonwealth. The signature color of the Free Worlds League is purple. The most common BattleMechs seen in action for the Free Worlds League are Locust, Wasp, and Stinger, Hermes, Phoenix Hawk, and Wolverine, Orion and Thunderbolt, Stalker, and Awesome. Pick this faction if you like adaptability and the idea of a vast mixture of societies and ideas coming together, usually, but not always successfully, for the greater good. House Steiner and the Lyran Commonwealth are a constitutional monarchy and are led by an Archon. Their official language is German, but English, Scottish Gaelic, Italian, and French are common as well. Their capital is Tharkod City on the world of Tharkod. The dominant religions of the Lyran Commonwealth are Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Their real-world inspiration comes from stereotypes of Central and North European nations. The Lyran Commonwealth enjoys independence and freedoms where loyalty to a citizen's homeworld comes before the Commonwealth itself. Its people are free to practice any religion, and they tend to be the most wealthy of the Inner Shpere due to strong mercantile activities. They do have a reputation of having one of the strongest military-industrial complexes led by incompetence. Their biggest enemies are the Draconis Combine and the Free Worlds League. The signature color of the Lyran Commonwealth is Steiner Blue, which is a bright royal blue. The most common BattleMechs seen in action for the Lyran Commonwealth are Commando, Locust, and Wasp, Griffin, Hatchetman, and Wolverine, Crusader and Thunderbolt, Zeus, and Battlemaster. Pick this faction if you find enjoyment in a powerhouse controlled by ineptitude. ComStar and the ComGuard are a corporate confederacy and are led by a primus. They are also known as the Order. Their official language is English. Their capital is Hilton Head Island on the world of Terra. The religion of ComStar is Word of Blake. They are not exactly based on any real-world stereotypes, but are mystical cultists who control the flow of communication and technological advancements, giving them quite an advantage. They are located at the center of the Inner Shpere, but don't perform forceful expansion by military means, yet secretly have their tendrils in everything going on. While they were training mech warriors and had a functional military for years, the ComGuard was not revealed until late into the Fourth Succession War. Their biggest enemies are everybody else. The signature color of ComStar is white. The most common BattleMechs seen in action for the ComGuard are Firefly, Hermes, and Falcon, Kintaro, Phoenix Hawk, and Wolverine, Flashman, Champion, and Guillotine, Stalker, Thug, and Crockett. Pick this faction if the idea of a cult of space wizards secretly controlling nearly everything going on in the Inner Shpere tickles your fancy. A quick note on the colors mentioned above. These are usually used as parade colors. It is more common to see most factions using an appropriate camouflage for the situation. Bright colors tend to stick out on the battlefield. That covers the Great Houses and ComStar, the biggest factions of the Inner Shpere. Remember, it's not necessary to choose a faction before placing your miniatures on the table. It's really just for fun and flavor. The details on each faction mentioned in this video are just meant as an introduction to the basic idea of each. All of these factions have been around for centuries and have thousands of pages of fluff recorded in official sources. Also, while some of my descriptions of them may place certain factions in a more favorable light, keep in mind there are no good guys. Every faction has had its fair share of honorable and dishonorable acts. In our next video in this series, we will cover the clan forces who played a major role in the clan invasion. Then we will touch on the periphery and mercenary forces. Thanks for watching this video. If you are brand new to BattleTech, I hope this video was helpful as an introduction to some of the major forces you will hopefully become more familiar with. You all take care of yourselves. We'll catch you next time.